Markham man was arrested after an elderly resident loses nearly $10,000 in a grandparent scam. And this is, we've talked about this about a few weeks ago as well, and I think a few months back, where, you know, elderly are being targeted by being called by who they believe is their grandchild who is in serious trouble, and they have to be able to pay up quickly. And so, you know, out of the fear that they have for the call that they get, which is a scam call, well, this is how they lose the money. So now Durham police have arrested and charged a Markham man after he allegedly scammed elderly residents for thousands of dollars by pretending to be their family member in a crisis situation. And that is the issue here, that when it's a crisis, you get the elderly person who's a grandparent very scared for the situation and for their grandchild. And so, according to investigators, multiple victims received phone calls, and this is going back just August 18th. So we're talking about last week, where a male, he claimed to be a grandson. And in this case, well, this involved them calling an elderly person and saying that, and then soon after, the phone is handed to another individual who says they're an officer of court advising that there was a victim, that the elderly person's grandson was involved in a car accident injuring a pregnant woman, and there's a $9,000 for bail that's needed right away. And this is the person who's saying that they're a police officer on the phone, and of course that scares the elderly person because they believe now a bond is needed to be able to get their grandson out of prison. And so in this situation, well, the investigators are saying to be very careful, and Durham Regional Police Financial Crimes Unit has attended the scene where this has been said to happen, to be able to arrest the suspect, because the same suspect from Markham happened to call an elderly woman who was previously scammed. So she was wiser this time and contacted the police. So what they said is that they were going to come to your house, we're going to collect the $9,000 for the bond. And so when the man arrived to the woman's house, well, the police were waiting for him. And that's how Josiah Burton, who's 22 years old, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of fraud over $5,000 and 1 count of possession of proceeds of crime. So if you do come across this, it's very important to contact the police or Crime Stoppers to make sure that you're reporting these incidences, because what this does is this allows police investigators to be able to string these incidences together and to be able to build a narrative on potential suspects and areas that are targeted. So it's very important to report these.